Walk into Maya's apartment in Charlotte, and the first thing you see is a ring light in the corner, still in the box, still wrapped in plastic. There's a Peloton with a sweater draped over it like a coat rack. A bathroom drawer that's almost vibrating with skincare. Half of it sampled twice and forgotten. A closet with 47 things still wearing tags. She makes $78,000 a year. Her checking account on a regular Tuesday says $2,300. Now walk into Kenji's place. Same age, 29, same salary, give or take a paycheck, same city. His apartment is smaller. There's a single bookshelf, a rice cooker on the counter, and a cheap notebook sitting on the kitchen table that he writes in every night before bed. His car is a 2017 Civic, 94,000 miles, slightly dusty. His brokerage account, last he checked, was $187,000. Same job, same zip code, same number of years on this planet. One has $2,300. The other has $187,000. That's a $185,000 gap. Now, hear me out. The difference between these two isn't discipline, and it isn't willpower. And please, for the love of everything, stop saying it's the avocado toast. Maya's not lazy. Kenji's not a Zen monk. They're running different software. Maya is running the default American financial operating system. Updates push automatically. Tap to pay. One-click checkout. Subscriptions that rebill until you die. Her brain barely registers any of it. Kenji is running something else. Something that's been quietly assembling itself in Japan for about 100 years, in the form of words you've maybe seen on a Pinterest board, but never actually used. Kakeibo, mottainai, kaizen, ikigai. They look like spa day vocabulary. They are not. They're the most ruthless personal finance system I've ever seen, and the people running it don't even realize they're running it. It just feels like normal life. Different software, not different willpower. My name is Nicole. I'm the person who watches two people earn the exact same money and end up in completely different places, and tries, in a non-creepy way, to figure out what actually happened in between. If you're tired of budgeting apps that don't work, and Pinterest charts that look pretty and change nothing, hit subscribe. Today, I'm walking you through 7 Japanese money rules that quietly do more for your net worth than a 6-figure raise, and I'm going to show you the math at the end so you can't accuse me of vibes. Here's the part that breaks the whole thing open. Japan, on average, earns less than America does, like meaningfully less. And Japan, on average, saves 5 times more. Same human beings, same hours in a day, same Amazon, same Netflix, same Starbucks dropped on every corner. The income line goes down and the savings line goes up. And that doesn't happen by accident. It's not genetic. It's not some mystical Eastern thing. It's a set of rules so plain, they sound like nothing the first time you hear them. And then 6 months later, you check your account and realize they did everything. I call it the invisible operating system. It runs underneath every spending decision. You don't notice it. Then one day you do. 7 rules. Let's go. 1. The notebook that slows your hand down when the app won't. In 1904, that's not a typo, 1904, a Japanese journalist named Hani Motoko got tired of watching middle-class families bleed through their paychecks and invented a household ledger. She called it kakeibo. There's no app. There's no spreadsheet. There's a notebook and a pen. That's it. That's the whole technology stack. At the start of every month, you write 4 numbers. Income, fixed costs, what you want to save, what's left. Then every night, before bed, before you let yourself open your phone, you sit down and you write what you spent that day. Each thing goes into one of 4 buckets. Need, want, culture, surprise. Sounds offensively simple. That's the point. Now I know exactly what you're thinking, because I thought it too the first time someone told me to do this. Nicole, that's literally what Mint does. That's literally what Rocket Money does. Yeah, it is. And here's the thing. The app does it. That's the problem. The app does it. Your brain doesn't. Used to be, every household kept a paper book like this. The bills came in the mail. You opened them. You wrote them down. Now we have apps that do it past you while you scroll. Different motion, different result. I've watched like 6 different friends try the app version. Download it, link the cards, feel responsible for 48 hours. Then the app becomes a notification, they swipe away on the lock screen, and 3 weeks later, they couldn't tell you what they spent on lunch yesterday if you put a gun to their head. Here's what tapping a card does to your brain. Nothing. That's the whole thing. There's no sting, no friction. A number flashes on a screen, your brain files it under background noise, and you're already 3 swipes deep into the next dopamine thing. That's the trap. I'm calling it the tap trance. Most spending isn't bad, it's just unconscious. You weren't choosing, you were tapping. Now flip it. You sit down at 9 p.m. with a $4 notebook. You write Uber Eats. $38, want. Your hand is moving. Your eyes are seeing. The front of your brain, the part that's actually supposed to make decisions, is being forced to admit, in your own handwriting, that you spent $38 on rice you could have made in 15 minutes for 2. You didn't get budget software. You got a confession booth. The friction is the feature. American financial culture worships the removal of friction. 1 click. Auto-renew. Tap. Frictionless sounds like efficiency. In practice, frictionless is how a $14 streaming bundle becomes a $190 subscription tower you forgot you were paying for. The notebook puts the friction back. Friction is what creates awareness, and awareness is the only thing that actually changes anything. Real quick, I'm not telling you to throw your apps away. I'm saying try 1 notebook, 1 month. See what your hand admits that your phone has been hiding. Number chapter 2. When throwing stuff away used to be free and now isn't. There's a Japanese word, mottainai, that doesn't have a clean English translation. It's not wasteful, too clinical. It's not shame, too hot. The closest I can get is regret. The specific kind you feel when something useful was thrown away that didn't need to be thrown away. Watching food go in the trash and feeling like a little physical ache about it. In Japan, that feeling is baseline, not extreme, not preachy, just normal. Tossing food that could have been eaten, replacing a jacket that could have been mended, upgrading a phone that still works, those decisions carry a quiet social weight, not a your neighbor is judging you weight, an internal this isn't what we do weight. 20 years ago in America, that feeling existed too. You patched your jeans, you darned a sock. There was a drawer in every kitchen labeled Tupperware lids whose Tupperware are gone. Throwing things away was a small decision you sort of had to make on purpose. That feeling is dead now. Replaced. Around 2010, when same-day delivery became normal and replacing got cheaper than keeping, throwing things away stopped feeling like a choice and started feeling like default. Waste is the business model now. Every fast fashion brand, every phone manufacturer, every meal kit that ships you 3 times the produce you need, wrapped in 7 layers of plastic. They don't profit from you using a thing once and taking care of it. They profit from churn. Here's how the math sneaks up on you. You throw out $40 of groceries every week because the meal kit shipped on Tuesday, but your boss scheduled drinks Thursday. That's $2,000 a year in the trash, before any other waste. New phone every 2 years, even though the old one was fine. New workout clothes every quarter because the old ones don't feel right. A standing desk you used for 6 weeks before going back to the regular one, $1,200, currently a coat rack. That's roughly $6,000 a year, quietly, going nowhere. Now zoom out 25 years, $6,000 a year, modest market returns, that ends up being roughly $500,000 you torched without throwing a single party. That's the number that should sting. $500,000 threw itself in the trash, and the only reason you didn't notice is because each individual little decision felt like nothing. Mottainai isn't asking you to dumpster dive your old yogurt, it's asking you to notice the ache. The small voice that says, I shouldn't be doing this. Most Americans have trained themselves to ignore it. The Japanese never trained it out. That ache is your bank account talking. Number 3. Why you'll never save what's left over. There's never anything left. In Okinawa, there's a phrase, hara hachi bu. It means eat until you're 80% full. Not stuffed, not satisfied. 80. People in Okinawa live longer than almost anywhere on Earth, and they're a big reason centenarian is a word the rest of the world even uses casually now. Take that exact rule and apply it to money. Spend 80% of your take-home. 20% doesn't exist. It leaves your account before you can see it, the morning after payday, on a schedule you set up once and never look at again. The rest of America runs the opposite operating system. It goes earn, spend, hope. Hope something's left over. There isn't anything left over. Ever. I'm calling it the leftover lie. Spending always expands to fill whatever's in the account. There's an actual rule for this. Parkinson's law. It started as an observation about work. Work expands to fill the time available. Same exact thing happens to money. Doesn't matter if you make 60 grand or 200 grand. If the account has it, the calendar will find a reason to spend it. Used to be, there was a thing called the Christmas Club account. Banks pulled a chunk out of every paycheck and gave it back in December for gifts. The default decided for you. Almost no bank offers them anymore. The default's flipped. Now every cent flows into your checking account, sits there, and waits to get spent. So I know what you're thinking. Nicole, I can barely afford rent at 100%. How am I supposed to live on 80? Fair. Real question. I'm not saying flip the switch tomorrow. Nobody can do that. And y'all who are trying to are the same people who are going to crash on day 12 and binge buy on day 14. I'm saying go up by 1% a month. Month 1, save 5%. Month 2, 6. Month 3, 7. By month 12, you're at 17%. And I'll bet you $10 and a coffee you cannot tell me what's different about your life. Your brain adapted. The constraint stopped being a constraint and started being normal. That's how the Japanese savings rate stays roughly 5 times the American rate on lower income. Not by sacrifice, by sequence. Here's the move. It's not about saving more, it's about saving first. You don't save more, you save first. There's a difference, and the difference is everything. Number 4, how to beat your brain's panic button, 1% at a time. The 4th rule comes from kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of continuous tiny improvement. Toyota made it famous in factories. In daily life, it means don't overhaul, edit. You've felt this before. You decide on January 1st, you're going to fix everything. Budget, gym, sleep, sugar, all of it. This is the year. And by mid-February, you're back at the drive-thru wondering what just happened. My buddy Wes does this every year. Buys a new planner, joins a new gym. By Valentine's Day, the planner's a coaster, and the gym charges him $40 a month for the next 11 months. That's not weakness. That's biology. Your brain has a panic button. Fancy word for it is amygdala. But you don't need that. That fires whenever you try to make big changes too fast. It interprets dramatic life overhauls the same way it interprets a tiger walking into the room. Threat. Shut it down. Eat the cheese. Go to sleep. Used to be January was the month of grand resolutions. Now January is the month of 2,000 abandoned gym memberships per zip code. The resolution wasn't the problem. The size of it was. Kaizen sneaks past the panic button. A 1% improvement doesn't register as a threat. It registers as nothing, which is exactly why it works. Here's the play. Every month, change one tiny thing. Month 1, skip dining out for 1 extra meal a week. Month 2, bump your 401k by a single percentage point. Month 3, cancel one subscription that, when you actually think about it, you don't even use. Month 4, call your car insurance and ask flatly, is this my best rate? Month 5, swap one name brand for the generic. Month 6, buy a coffee maker. Cancel the Starbucks app while you're at it. None of these is dramatic. That's the point. None of them earn a TikTok video. Also the point. Most Americans operate on the assumption that change has to feel like change. The Japanese figured out a long time ago that change feels best when it doesn't feel like anything at all. 12 months in, you've gone from saving 4% to saving 16. Different life. Same Tuesday. Number 5. What your money is actually trying to buy you. There's a Japanese word, ikigai, that the Western internet has done dirty. You've seen the Venn diagram. 4 overlapping circles. Passion, skill, pay, world needs, career optimization gibberish. That's not what it is. In Japan, ikigai is way smaller. It's the thing that gets you out of bed. It can be gardening, cooking dinner for your kids, teaching 10-year-olds chess, walking the same dog around the same block. It doesn't have to make money. It has to make meaning. That's it. Apply that to your wallet, and you get the question every spreadsheet ignores. What is the money for? Most people either save with no destination or spend with no intention. They save because their dad told them to once when they were 22. They buy because something looked good on a screen at 11 p.m., and Instagram had been studying them all day. Here's what changes when you have a real one-sentence answer to what is the money for. You don't need willpower anymore. You don't need an app to scold you. Every spending decision becomes a yes/no, almost automatic. Does this take me toward the answer or away from it? A friend of mine, Tomas, got obsessed with ikigai about a year ago. His answer turned out to be, own a small bakery in his hometown by 45. Not retire, just bake. And, he's not white-knuckling anything. The $800 jacket, away from the bakery, the $40 of nice flour, toward the bakery. He doesn't argue with himself anymore. The filter does the work. That's the difference between purpose and discipline. Discipline runs out. Purpose doesn't. If you can't answer what is the money for in one sentence, your money has no boss, which means it ends up wherever the loudest algorithm points it, which is currently the Sephora app. Number 6, the Saturday that will quietly save you $3,000 a year. In Japan, there's a year-end ritual called osoji. Families do a deep, almost ceremonial clean of the entire house at the end of December. Not tidy up. Deep. Cabinets, closets, attics, anything that no longer serves. You enter the new year light. You can do osoji to your money in one Saturday afternoon. And honestly, the first time I did it, I felt sick. 3 years ago, on a random January Saturday, I sat down with 12 months of bank statements and a yellow highlighter, and I went through every single charge, every recurring everything. Cable bundle I'd kept for sports, but hadn't watched in 2 years. 2 streaming services I forgot existed. A meal kit I unsubscribed from, but never actually canceled. A backup cloud thing I'd auto-renewed 3 times. Insurance riders I added in 2019 and never thought about again. $287 a month. Bleeding. Quietly. Just because nobody had ever sat down and looked. Used to be autopay was something you set up at the gas company, and that was about it. Now everything is autopay. Auto-renew is a doorman who never checks ID. Companies count on this. Their entire churn prevention strategy is one sentence. The customer will not look. Block one Saturday in January every year. Pull up every statement from the past 12 months. Yellow highlighter, every recurring charge. For each one, ask the only question that matters. Would I sign up for this today, knowing what I now know? If the answer is no, cancel before you close the laptop. You don't get out of the seat until it's done. Part 7. When did doing nothing stop counting as fun? The last rule comes from Shinrin yoku, forest bathing. The Japanese practice of spending quiet time outdoors with your phone in the other pocket and no specific agenda. It's not exercise. It's not like a hike. It's standing among trees and letting your nervous system catch up. It costs nothing. I want to use that to make a bigger point. I'm calling it the receipt reflex. Quick, name 3 things you did for fun last weekend. Now think. Was there a single one that didn't involve a transaction? A bar tab, a delivery order, a streaming service, movie tickets, a treat myself coffee. Be honest. Most of us, somewhere in the last 15 years, slowly merged having fun with spending money until we stopped being able to tell which one we were even chasing. You know how I know? You felt it. You're bored at 6 p.m. on a Saturday, and the very first thing your brain reaches for is something to buy. Not something to do. Something to buy. The motion is the same. The receipt is the actual thing. You didn't choose this. The receipt reflex was installed. I've watched what happens when somebody breaks it, just for a month. My cousin Andrea, 2 summers ago, did this on a dare. 30 days, every weekend activity is free. Parks, cooking dinner with friends instead of meeting at restaurants. The library. She'd literally not been since college. Long walks. Board game night with her neighbor she'd lived next to for 3 years and never met properly. She told me, around week 3, I've spent more time with people I love this month than I have all year, and my bank account has like $300 extra in it for some reason. That's not a coincidence. That's what happens when you stop confusing fun with checkout. This isn't a vow of poverty. I'm not telling you to never see a movie again. I'm saying notice the reflex. The next time you're bored and you reach for the wallet, pause for 1 second and ask whether what you actually want is the thing or the dopamine of the swipe. A lot of weekends, the answer's the swipe, and the trees are free. Let's go back to Maya and Kenji. 10 years from now, same city, same age, 39. Maya has about $47,000 between her savings and her 401k, and on Sundays, the regular Sunday, not a special one, she opens her bank app and there's that little flicker of dread before the screen even loads. She's not bad with money. She's not lazy. She's just been running the default operating system, which was never built for her. Kenji is 39 with $312,000, still drives the Civic. Notebook is on volume 4. He sleeps fine. The gap isn't talent. It isn't inheritance. It isn't luck. It's 7 small rules that most of us were never taught, partly because nobody handed them to us, and partly, more uncomfortably, because the entire economy around us is calibrated on us not learning them. Run the math conservatively. Pick 3 of the 7. Just 3. An extra $800 a month going somewhere that earns. 25 years, modest returns, no special tricks. You end up with around $789,000. You didn't get a raise. You didn't get lucky. You didn't quit your job and start a podcast. You changed your software. American financial culture teaches you to earn more. Japanese financial culture teaches you to need less. One of those is your boss's permission slip. The other one starts tonight with a $4 notebook on your kitchen table with the phone face down. Here's the part nobody likes to say out loud. The reason these rules feel exotic to us isn't that they're Japanese. It's that the entire American consumer economy, the streaming bundles, the subscription boxes, the buy now pay later checkout buttons, the Sephora algorithm, the Amazon homepage that knows what season you're in before you do, has spent 20 years engineering itself, on purpose, against you ever practicing them. The friction was the feature. They removed it on purpose. Mottainai cost them money. Kakeibo cost them money. The 80% ceiling actively hurts their quarter. You're not being lazy. You're being marketed against by an industry that outspent your willpower the day you were born. Buy a notebook. Write 1 month down. Read it back. Then ask yourself, with the lights off, how much of that was a choice you made? And how much of it was just default settings doing what default settings do?